So what we're doing today is we're going to basically install all the software that we need for this class. This class, as you know, AWD 1100 programming with C#. So this is the software for the C# class. Okay, and this document that I'm going to be stepping through is on inside Ranken, and I'm going to edit this because I want a live link to this document. So as I make changes, you're just going to have access to the changes immediately instead of me having to kind of re-download it and update inside Ranken. So let me kind of edit this handout, and I'm going to give a link here, and let me just say edit the link to say setting up your new window, save. And one more thing here. So put the URL here, file, save as, documents. And I'm going to update this in a couple of different ways, and I'll be ready to start with you guys in just a second. Let me choose this file. Okay, if you went ahead and opened up like the PDF, you can close that. It doesn't really matter, but you want to be looking at the Google Doc. So if you go back to Inside Ranken, go back to it now, it'll be updated to a Google Doc, so that when you click on this link, it just opens up in a new tab. Oop. Copy and paste that, and you should get it into a Google Doc. There it goes. Okay. So yeah, click on this link right here, setting up your environment. Should open up a Google Doc. Let's walk through the Google Doc. First thing is to install Discord. So some of you already asked, like, hey, I know you got a Discord. What is Discord? And so let me rewind here because I see a couple people. You want to click on the Academics tab on Inside Ranken. Okay, so if everyone's your first time on Inside Ranken, there's a lot of different links. But let's go ahead and click on Academics. Okay, and this is where you're going to find the class. Once you get on the academics page, you're going to find Programming Fundamentals C#. So go ahead and click on Programming Fundamentals with C#, which is AWD 1100. And then on the right-hand side, you're going to see handouts, and you should see setting up your environment. If you click on that, that's what you're looking for. Okay, so everyone should have this document open. So let's start with an explanation on Discord. How many gamers are out there, play games and chat on Discord? So most gamers understand a little bit about Discord because it's a common messaging forum, if you will, for gamers. That's why I use Discord. When the pandemic hit, we never used Zoom. We always used Discord because most of our students were already familiar with Discord. So you can do chat, you can do videos, you could do audio. It's everything that Zoom is and more. And most of my gaming students are already familiar with Discord. Okay, so it is a way to get a hold of me. Probably the most directly is through Discord. Yes, you can email me. Yes, you can call me. And I respond to all of those. But you want to ping me on my phone at 9 o'clock at night when I'm probably sleeping? Discord is probably the most direct. Okay, now on Discord, a lot of you are gamers and you have your gamer tags. I do not know your gamer tags. I don't want to know your gamer tags. I want to know your name. It's hard enough just to learn a name, let alone all of the associated gamer tags. So what we'll do is we're going to install Discord, and then we're going to change your nickname to be your name, right? So that I know who you are on Discord. So let's kind of start with that. If you scroll down, you're going to download the desktop app for Windows or Mac, and this is on discord.com. So if you click on this, now here's a little trick. Hold down Control and click on links, and that will open them up in new tabs. Okay, that way you don't navigate away from the document and then have to reopen the document. So as you click on the links in here, in my document, hold down Control, and that'll just kind of help you along the way. And what you're going to do is you're going to click on this button here that says download for Windows or download for Mac, whatever you're on. And you're going to install it, and you're going to basically accept all the defaults and install this on your computer. Now, if you're using a desktop from the college, you might already have Discord downloaded. If you already have Discord, you already have Discord. So some of you may not have to download Discord. Let's check this out on everyone's computer. Okay, so you're going to download for Windows. Okay, and when you download this, it's going to download what's called an installer. So you can kind of watch me here. Click on download. I'm sure you've all seen this before. This installer goes into a folder on your computer called the downloads folder. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to save the installer, and then you have to run the installer. So it's a multi-step process. I've already done this once, so I don't need to do it again, but you would go ahead and click on save, of course. I'll do it again. And then in Chrome, you kind of get this little installer download, and when it's done, it'll stop flashing and you can run it. And then just walk through the installer, accept, read the agreements. And you're going to install Discord. Discord looks like this. Okay, this is over here on the left-hand side, these are the different servers, or basically these are the different forums, if you will, that you're a part of. Okay, so you can see on my Discord, I'm on a few different servers that I join, and this is mine. It's right now it's got an old logo, but you can hover over it and see this is Mr. Gudmested's virtual classroom. Okay, and again, this is a way for you to chat with your classmates. But in short, on this left bar here, these are the servers that you're a part of. And then once you click on a server, like we're going to click on this one, Mr. Gudmested's virtual classroom, this bar right here, where it says text channels and voice channels, right? These are just different ways to communicate on this server. Obviously, a voice channel, right now, you can see I'm in a voice channel. And every time I talk, you can see I'm lighting up here. And anyone that's in this voice channel will hear me on their computer, right? It also says that I'm live, so I do a screen share on here. And if you didn't want to look at my projector like you're all doing right now, you could just hop in my screen share, and you can see my screen share on your monitor, right? So you didn't have to look at my monitor. Or I'll call out Mr. Thorpe's, who's physically not here today. He's unable to be here today, but he told me, hey, I know I'm not here. I know I might be marked absent, but I still don't want to fall behind. So he's participating at home so that he doesn't fall behind in the course, even though physically he's not able to be here today. Okay, so that's an offer to all of you. If you can't make it, I understand. You might be marked absent, and that's the attendance policy, but you could still participate, and that's totally cool. And so as I click on the general channel, now I was just in this off topic, and in this off topic, can you guys hop in the off topic? Can you see that video that we just watched in the off topic? I didn't know if you joined it after I posted it. I posted this at 8:30, so if you just joined, you might not be able to see this. I'm just curious if everyone can see it in off topic. In fact, I realize we have to take one more step in the process. Going back to the document, once you download Discord, you're going to click on this green plus arrow, and then you're going to paste this URL. So copy and paste. Copy this. and paste it when it says join a server. So if you just download Discord, the next step is to join a server. So you're going to click on the green plus right here on the left, and you're going to click have an invite already, join a server. You're going to click this join a server button, and you're going to paste and click on join server. And as you do that, you'll pop in here and you could see Tony's in, Jacob's in, Ryan's in, Maya's in, right? So people are joining the server. Now again, you might have a gamer tag, and the next step in this process is to change your name. If you're using an alias for your name, such as a gamer tag, change your nickname. So what you do is you use your first and your last name as your nickname, right? You're just using your name as your nickname. You're going to right-click the server icon and select change nickname. Okay, so there's a little picture of that, but again, what you're going to do is you're going to right click on this server icon, and you're going to find the change nickname, even though, let's see, did they move it? Edit server profile. Edit, it's changed. It's a different process than it used to be. Now you have to click on edit server profile. I'll update my document, and then here's your nickname. So I'll put Evan Gudmestead. I'll put teacher in parentheses. Okay, then all you have to do is hit escape. Careful, you have unsaved changes. Okay, let's hit save changes. Now we escape. Okay, and you'll see over on here, 20 of you are online and in this server. And now my nickname says Evan Gudmestead Teacher. So let me take a quick screenshot and I'll update my docs, because you right click, edit server profile, snipping tool, someone is pinging me. So I can go back here, paste that, right click the server icon and select the edit server profile. Update your nickname and click save changes. Right? So as we're doing this, I can go in here and I really should be able to see basically what I'm looking for is a bunch of names on the left hand side. And if I bring this over here, right, Andrew Jones, Anton, Ben, Christian, this is all good stuff. I know who you are, right? And I appreciate that. Okay. Everyone doing good? Everyone's at this point, we're all on Discord? Anyone not on Discord? Everyone has their nicknames. It's the same server as last year. Basically, I have two servers. I have one for the first year students, and I have another one for the second year students. So if you're in the first year, you're in this one. I got a different one for my second year students. All right. And again, if you want to kind of join my stream, I see 5 of you are watching my stream on your computers. In order to watch the stream, you have to join the voice channel. And then you can click my little name here, and it'll say watch stream. And you just click the voice channel, watch a stream.
If you hit the little headset button on the very bottom left, it makes it so you can't hear any audio.
So yeah, down here. You probably want to mute yourself.
Once you hit the headset thing, it mutes you and also takes you to where you can't hear anything.
There you go. If you hit deafen, it mutes you and no audio because you're hearing my voice here. You don't need to hear it through your computer. Awesome. And again, the offer is always there if you want to join this. If you can't physically be here on a day, you don't want to fall behind, you want to ask questions, you can ask questions on Discord. You can ask questions when you're remote for the day. If we ever have like a snow day, which is no longer an off day, if we ever have a snow day, we're meeting on Discord, right? This is how we will collaborate on that day, right? And I'll start class at, 7:30 or whatever, but class will start at 8:05 and end at 11:55 on Discord. All right, the next couple of tools are used at various amounts throughout the class. The first one is just an AdBlocker. The reason I have you install an AdBlocker is because Notepad++. Notepad++ is a good piece of software. It's literally like it sounds. Like you've all used Notepad on a computer. It's just a very, very primitive text editor. Okay, Notepad++ is a really good upgrade to Notepad. Okay, and coders, when they just want to look at code without a lot of bells and whistles, they'll look at code in Notepad++. I use it a little bit, okay? I use it a little bit, and so sometimes it's just nice to have Notepad++ on your computer. AdBlocker kind of blocks a lot of the ads on Notepad's website, so it's just kind of a good tool to have. Let's click on this AdBlocker and see if we can still block some ads on Chrome. Again, I kind of click on here. I'm going to hold down Control, click on AdBlocker. This is AdBlocker Plus, and you're going to click on the Add to Chrome. Now this is assuming you're using Chrome. Obviously there are ad blockers in different browsers as well. Click on Add to Chrome, add extension, installing AdBlock Plus. You don't have to pay for it. This is free, but you can donate should you choose. You're installed at this screen. Okay, when you get to this screen, you're good. And this will avoid some ads along the way. So it's just a nice thing to have. Close that, close that. And so we're going to get All right. Next up says step number 2, install the latest Notepad++ version with the default settings. Again, we're going to download an installer. We're going to install with default settings. So I'm going to click on this link. I'm going to open it up in a new tab. I'm going to hold down Control. Okay, that's going to open up a new page here. This says download Notepad++ v848. I'm sure I am not on the latest version, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. Gives you a big green download button. We're going to click it. It's going to go into our downloads folder. We're going to click on save. Okay, it's kind of flashing down here. When it's done flashing, it's ready. We're going to open it up. It's going to say verified publisher. I'll say yes. Then it asks you for a language. Unless you're bilingual, let's go ahead and select English. And again, this is defaults. We're going to click next. I agree. Next. Next. Install. We're going to click finish. You have now installed Notepad++. Okay? Once you've got Notepad++ open, you can close it. We just need to install it. That's all we're doing. If you're on might ask you for permission. Okay, that password, anytime it gives you this prompt. Okay. Yeah, if you're on our desktop, if you're on a Ranken desktop, it might prompt you for a password. That's the same password that you used to log in. I believe, let me double check that. Capital P A55W.RD. Let me get you. You know what? I'm gonna have to put in. If it prompts you for a password for right now, I'm gonna have to put in a password. So just call me over. I'll put in the password. Okay, good question. So Notepad++ is not available on a Mac. Is there another option? It's not critical, so don't even worry about it. If you're on a Mac and you can't get Notepad++, it's not critical. There's other ways of working, okay? Yep. Everyone caught up? All right. Yep.
Which one is it? Which one do I?
The top one.
The first one?
The top one, yep. Let's see what it's doing.
The computer's just on.
Let's just close the stuff that we don't need. We're good here, we're good here. We're good here, we're good here. Man, you're not kidding. This thing's dull. There it is.
But do I leave it be or do I open it?
We're gonna open it and run it as soon as it's done. I got a question for you. Put it in private. It's no big deal. Can I borrow it? Got a few people just getting Notepad installed. there's a small elephant in the room, and I pulled Miss Stacy in the class. It smells like pot in here. We're on day 2 of the semester. It is like a cloud when I walk into this classroom. I don't know if it's one person. I don't know if it's multiple people. So here's how we're going to address this. Today, this is the warning. Any other day in the semester, if it smells like pot, I'm just going to call security. They're going to come in. They're going to smell you. And if you smell like pot, you're kicked out. It's that simple. So this is the warning. If it's you and you're addicted and whatever, you got to figure that out. But just putting it out there, day 2, this classroom's not going to be a cloud of smoke. Not doing it. Okay?
I smelled it when I walked in.
Yeah, it's obvious. So, okay. Moving on. Let's run. All right, we're good. Anyone else still moving? Yep. Yeah, again, there's really no, if it's not on Mac, it's not on Mac. Notepads, it's not a problem. We could just use like a standard Word editor or whatever. A code editor. There's other options besides Notepad++. Okay, this tool number 3, we're going to use quite a bit, so this is absolutely a requirement for everybody. This is a tool called Git. And so yesterday I mentioned something called GitHub, and I said that GitHub is going to be where we submit our work to. And so there's a technology underlying GitHub called Git. And again, GitHub uses Git to take the files from your computer and put it on the website called GitHub. So again, Git is just a technology underlying some tools that we're going to use. So go ahead and go to this link, download for Windows. And my Mac people, you should be able to download for Mac, yeah? Yep, cool. So let's go ahead and click on download for Windows. Yeah, so the question, that's a good question. 32 or 64-bit. You have to know what kind of processor you have. To find that out, what you do is you kind of go into the search bar. You click on the Windows. Let's see. If I type in this PC, it gives me this option for properties. And I believe it'll tell me under the properties window. Let's see. Processor. That doesn't tell me 30. Oh, there it is. 64-bit operating system, 64-based processor. So that means 64-bit. So right under system type. So since mine is 64-bit, I'll download the 64-bit Git for Windows setup. Save. And let's let it download and click. Okay, now there's some screenshots along the way that this one isn't exactly just all the default settings. Okay, but I'm going to walk you through it so you don't miss anything. So I'm going to get everyone to this installer. Get everyone to this installer and I'll walk you through it. You already have it? You're good?
I'm a 64.
It really worked.
I don't want to download it, so I'm going to
Go back and download 64.
Windows 11 works a little differently. So I'll show you on Windows 11, because I'm on 10. You're going to type in System Information and just click on System Information here. And that brings up a little bit more complex details about your computer, but right under System Type, you got a 64-based PC. So that's, again, where you find the 64-bit or 32-bit. The short answer, I got to ask the question, well, hey, I have a 64-bit, but I downloaded 32. It really is a performance thing. 64-bit processors can run 32-bit applications, but they'll run faster if you run 64-bit applications. Okay, so they're compatible and it will work, but it's a performance thing. If you want it to run as efficient as possible, you want to match up the 64-bit and 64-bit. If you're a 32-bit and you download a 64-bit, that's not compatible. That won't work. So they're backwards compatible, in other words. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on Install is the first screen. And this changes all the time, so I wouldn't be surprised if the installation process has changed yet again on me. It changes every semester. That's the nature of the world that we're in. And you can uncheck to view the release notes. I don't really care to read that right now.
I don't think they launched it.
Maybe unchecking that box didn't launch what I needed it to launch.
Check launch git bash.
There was a, let me go back to downloads. I'm going to run this again.
What are we downloading now?
We're on the same, we're still on this Git. Okay, so again, here I am now. I ran it again since it closed. Now I'm seeing these options
Because it's been installed.
So I just went back into my installer that was in my downloads. And again, I'll just run this. Again, you might have to go into your downloads. After you install it the first time, go back to your downloads folder, run this again. This is just a small configuration. And again, I'll help you through it. This option here, now that we've downloaded Notepad++, we can use Notepad as Git's default editor. So that is now my default option. If you're on a Mac, whatever the default here is fine. Okay, so that's one thing to make sure of. Again, that was kind of a default for me. This option here, let Git decide, is the default. We're good there. Let me look at the next thing it wants me to do. Is a credential manager and system caching. This is the recommended. I'm not going to change this default. So adjusting your path environment, I'm going to keep that the same. I'm going to default here. Defaults here.
I just defaulted all the way through.
Yeah, it's looking like defaults all the way through is going to be good for us. Default, 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 default. Okay, yeah, this is all changed. It's using Git Credential Manager. That's what we want. This is all changed. Enable file system caching. Install. Okay, so it was defaults all the way through. Okay, I'm going to help everyone through it. Just defaults all the way through, except for making sure that Git. Okay, we've been at this for a little over an hour. You guys might need to use the restroom, take a short break. So I got 9:20, take 15 minutes. Okay, we're gonna take a break till 9:35. So I'll see you back at 9:35. Okay, folks, we are going to resume. We left off on step number 4 to download what's called TortoiseKit. And what it boils down to is that there's a lot of different options to transfer your files from your computer onto GitHub. TortoiseKit is one of the what are called graphical user interface tools, GUI tools. And so we're going to download TortoiseKit. That's not the main tool that we use. The main tool that we use is called GitHub Desktop. So there's multiple options here, but we're just going to download both. So let's go ahead and get TortoiseKit. Click on download. And again, you get the 32-bit or 64-bit for options. Now, my Mac folks, are you able to get TortoiseKit, or is it not available on Mac? Okay, so is that correct? Jack, you've got a Mac. No, there's no TortoiseKit? Again, it's okay. The alternative tool is GitHub Desktop. You guys use GitHub Desktop? Yeah, so if you're on Mac, you can't get TortoiseKit. That's fine. We'll just use GitHub Desktop. So don't worry about this if you're on Mac. We're going to go ahead and click on to download TortoiseKit, the latest edition. And wait for it. Brings you to the installer for TortoiseKit. I already have it, so I'm actually not going to run the installer. You just run the installer with all the defaults on TortoiseKit.
Hey, what's good?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you probably installed it last time, but we got this. Where's the document for all the instructions?
All right, you said just wrong.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Okay. Next up on TortoiseKit, again, we use TortoiseKit a little bit, and this step isn't super important, but let's take these steps anyways. So it says install TortoiseKit. When prompted for your name and email address, use your real name and your school's email, which is your first name _ last name and inside Ranken.org. Now that you have Git and TortoiseKit installed, we need to install some small configuration changes. We need to make some small configuration changes. Right-click your desktop, select TortoiseKit Settings. So let's go to my desktop. Okay, you can see my mouse over here. We're going to click on TortoiseKit in Settings. Brings you to this window right here. Select Get and verify that your email is your school email. So here's the Get on the left. And this email should be your school email. Select Get Credential and click on Open Settings. So the next is we have to change onto this credential. Can you see underneath Get it says credential? Let's click on that. Then we click on Open Settings. Okay, so let me do this again. Underneath Get, there's credential. We're going to click on this Open Settings button. Settings. Select yes. And it says set the credential helper to manager core all Windows users. So right here, WinCred all Windows users. Then you click apply. Then you click OK. And that's what you need to do. All right. I might have to change up something on your computer so that you for the conflict.
Can you put up that other installer on the left? Here you go. No, no problem. Definitely not stuff. The stuff in our estimate, I had it on. I wonder if we could do like on a different version of it, maybe it installed faster on mine, so I would do it for years. Maybe that's what the issue is here.
Oh, we did. Oh, we got to this point. We didn't finish that. Okay, that was on me.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Oh, I know that. I wouldn't risk restarting if I were you. Oh, it's not letting me restart.
I'll go away. You can force restart it. Hold on, can't hold down the power button. It's frozen. Once it turns off,
Okay, the primary tool that we're going to get used to is not TortoiseKit. TortoiseKit is installed. You'll have access to it should you need it. But we're going to use GitHub Desktop. And GitHub Desktop for my Mac users confirmed this is compatible for Mac. We got thumbs up. Okay, so we're going to go to desktop.github.com, hold down Control. This is a tool that we will be using. This says download for Windows 64-bit. I'm going to go ahead and download this and make sure it's all patched and up to date for me.
By the way, let's say you have let's say a 32-bit processor and you downloaded the 64-bit. What would that?
That's not compatible. No, it wouldn't work. Okay, so I'm going to run GitHub Desktop. Again, I already have this installed, so we'll see how it responds for me. Okay, so I'm going to remove that. And you should have this tool, just again, defaults all the way through. How many people are currently installing GitHub Desktop? Couple? Cool. Help you out.
That's different from GitHub.
That's different than Git. Yep. So that is this link right here.
I opened it up on my Discord.
Anyone else have questions? Everyone doing all right?
I think I get what is it? Like I downloaded it, but I didn't do the next steps. Did you install it? Yeah. Cool. So the next step I can always do real quick. Let's start with this one.
You can work ahead a little bit if you're. You can feel free to work ahead if you're all caught up, right? You don't have to wait on me.
Which is the next part then?
That's right. You don't have it. Yeah. Keep forgetting that.
Oh, by the way, is there a particular reason why we're not using this right here? Okay.
I'm gonna answer your question in just a minute. Give me a minute. I think I know where you're going. We're still installing GitHub Desktop? Yes? No? Yes? Close it for now. You're good. If you've never had an account on GitHub.com, we have to make an account for you, and that's a few steps ahead in the process. Okay, so you won't be able to sign in to GitHub Desktop until you make an account on GitHub.com. Okay, so that's just a few steps ahead.
So should we make one now or just skip this step and then sign in later?
The question is, should we make an account now or skip it? Just for now, just hold on. For now, you can. If you really want to get ahead, you can make the account. Just realize you can make it on the website or the app. You just got to make an account at some point. But the instructions are, before you make an account, if you're going to work ahead, I want everyone to be aware that, again, I would like your first name _ last name for your GitHub account. Okay, that way I know it's you. It's not some gamer tag. Again, because I can't recognize everyone's gamer tags. So on your GitHub, if you make an account, your username should be first name _ last name. Now, if your name is John Smith, maybe you should make it John _ Smith Ranken at. Just add the word Ranken behind it, or add some numbers behind it. Just something so I know it's you. Yes.
This studio code, like, is there a reason why we're not using this?
Okay, so the question that keeps popping back up is around the next piece of software. Okay, and the next piece of software that we install, how many people are still installing desktop? Everyone's ready to move on? Okay, I'm going to address this because it's anytime the question's asked multiple times, it's a good question. Last semester we used Visual Studio Code. We used a different version of Visual Studio. So the question that keeps coming up is, why are we using this other version? This version is called Visual Studio Community. Why can't we use Visual Studio Code? Visual Studio Code was made as a very generic, like it'll work with just about any language. Okay, so it is made for not specifically with C Sharp. Visual Studio Community was kind of primarily used with C Sharp. So if you're going to write C Sharp, the primary tool is Visual Studio Community. You could alternatively use Visual Studio Code. I've never done it, right? If you want to use Visual Studio Code and figure it out for C Sharp, that's going to be a learning curve you're more than welcome to go for. But I'm going to use the primary tool used for C Sharp applications, which is Visual Studio Community. Okay? So in other words, just follow along. Just use Visual Studio Community. Don't make it hard on yourself. Okay? Download this, install it with defaults. When you launch this, it's going to ask you, do you want to sign in? I want everybody to sign in to Community with their inside Ranken credentials. Okay, you'll be able to log in as a student, and if you do that, traditionally what Microsoft does is kind of give you some student benefits. Okay, so we might get some benefits if you're logging in with your inside Ranken credentials. Okay, so let's go ahead and walk through this process. We're going to open up this Visual Studio Community. You can see here a fully featured, extensible, free code editor. That's what an IDE is. An IDE is a code editor for creating modern applications for Android, iOS, Windows, as well as web applications and cloud services. Download, save it, install it. I already have it. I'm not going to do it again. Launch it, sign in with your inside Ranken. Now, if you've already worked ahead and you signed in with a different Microsoft account, you need to go into your settings in Visual Studio, log out of whatever Microsoft account you put in, and log back in with the inside Ranken. Okay, one step as you're going through the install that you're going to need to take, pay close attention. There's a checkbox to check that says .NET Desktop Development. Okay, this is a checkbox that you're going to need to install. If I run the installer, show you what that looks like live. I have to click on modify, but you're going to get to this screen right here. And if you want to jump ahead, like I wouldn't do this, but this is the checkbox. Right? This is the checkbox you're going to check for this semester. The ASP.NET and web development is a checkbox you'll need for future semesters. It's like if you want another like 8 gig download, just don't do that now. Go home and do it. But that's the future semester, what we'll be doing later on. So for my Mac users, you're working with Visual Studio for Mac. This process has changed. We're gonna have to try some things to figure out how to get it to work. Now my recommendation is dual boot into Windows. My recommendation is, but you might not be able to do that. So let's try getting this to work in Mac without having to boot into Windows. The process always changes. Every year it changes. the top option was like a .NET option. Download them all. It'll be a long install process if you do that, but it will be the best shot. Yeah. Okay. You got a Mac? You got a Mac. I realize this download takes a while and this install takes a while. Anytime we do big group exercises like this, I appreciate your attention to detail, and I appreciate you kind of staying focused and not getting distracted and following along, because it really helps the whole class to move along when we can all do that. So thank you for your attention to detail. Right here.
Yeah, this is another big one.
I have no control of that, you know. You got it installed. That's what you need for right now. And then we're going to make an account and involve it. I'm just going to pause for a minute because this recording's already long enough. Okay, like I said, off of the recording, I'm going to repeat it for the recording. We're going to come back to Balsamic later in the semester. I have to get an updated key. No big deal. I'll get the updated key. We'll install this later. Next step is to register at GitHub Classroom and create your GitHub repository. So this is the step that basically we need to create a GitHub account. So let's get everyone to click on this top link. And you can see, for the most part, all of your names are listed here, okay? But that's because I'm already logged in. If you click on this and you have not created an account, it's a two-part process. Part one is create an account and log in. And then you'll come back to this link and you'll see this list with your name in it. Okay, once you're logged in, then you should be able to see this list. Okay, so again, click on the link, create an account, log in, then go back to that link and click your name. Okay, if you're opening the PDF, go back to Inside Ranken, refresh, and you'll open up the Google Doc instead of the PDF. The PDF has the old link in it. The Google Doc does not have the old link in it. Okay, so if you're working from that PDF file, the Google Doc looks like this, as opposed to something up in the URL that would be a .pdf. Okay, so if you're working from the PDF, go back to Inside Ranken, refresh, get the PDF version of this document.
Where you at?
This is so slow.
No. We need to. You can do two things at once, right? So let's go to. Ooh, this is the challenge.
All right, I'm going to pause this. Okay, I'd like to show everyone kind of what it looks like. I made myself as a mock student on here, so I'll go ahead and click my name. Are you sure you want to select the identifier? Yes. And, oh, something went wrong. So probably, let me try again. Probably what went wrong is some of the names got off the list. Or since I'm the teacher, it's not also letting me be the student. That's okay. You should be able to click your name, and then it's going to go to a page that looks something like this. Wait for it. Students. So I could see who's already linked and unlinked. Therefore, if I go to github.com, I should be able to find these repos. Like here's Christians. That's not it. I'll be right with you, sir. Okay, once I click on this, then I can click on this. Okay, so you're going to get to a screen that looks like this. I just picked on Madeline's because that's what was at the top of the list. And you're going to get to a page that looks like this with your name on it. That's where you need to get. I'm going to take the next steps as if I was Madeline doing this. Okay, so you're all going to get to this screen right here. And what we need to do is we need to make that copy onto this computer. Again, anytime you're going to do work on a computer, you need to make this copy once. Okay, this copy is called a clone. Okay, once you do the clone once on a computer, you don't have to clone it twice. You just clone it once. Okay, but any new computer that you're going to write code on, you need to do the clone once. Okay, so there's many ways to do this. The way that I like to do it is the following. Okay, I like to clone it using the URL. So here's the HTTPS. And here's my URL. So I'm going to click on copy this. Okay, now back on GitHub desktop. You know, you might have, your screen might look a little different than mine. But you're going to click on File, Clone Repository. Now you need to be logged in first, right? You need to be logged in with your inside Ranken credentials. No, excuse me, inside Ranken. Sometimes you say 1,000 words and something's going to come out wrong. You're gonna log in with your GitHub credentials, right? This is GitHub desktop. You log in with your GitHub credentials. Clone repository, and then you're going to click on this URL tab. Okay, now the important step is, where are you making the copy to? Are you putting it on your desktop? Are you putting it into your My Documents? Anyone who's newer to computers, right, might not be super familiar with file systems and paths, like your C drive, users, My Documents, right? But it is important to understand where all your files are saving to. Okay, so this path here, this local path, is very important because you need to know where your files are. Okay, and beginners tend to overlook this really quick. They tend to gloss over this and not pay close attention to where you're actually saving your files to. Okay, so it saves a lot of steps. Now, since I'm going to be working with Madeline's repo, I'm going to go ahead and clone Madeline's repository. I'm going to clone all of your repos. Okay, I'm just going to do Madeline's right now because, again, that's the place. Now, where I'm going to clone all of your repos to is in My Documents, GitHub. I'm going to make a new folder called AWD 1100, and I'm just going to put Spring 23. Okay, that's going to be my folder name. And if I paste in that URL from before, notice it wants to create this subfolder called AWD All Coursework Madeline Glick. I don't need all of this. I just really need this to say your name. You can keep the folder name the default. I'm just going to have it be the student's name, and I'm going to click on clone. Okay, and if you get to this step, it's making the copy. It's doing the cloning process once. After that, you're in the right place.